Hi guys, it's Andy from Man City Fan TV. I'm here with Ray.
Hi guys.
You all right? How are you feeling?
About as bad as you, mate, with this virus. I've been knocked back for six for about 2 weeks now. It just doesn't want to go.
It's a nightmare. I'm coming down with a cold and a sore throat. So moving on, what we're going to do just quickly is we're going to review. We tried to do it last night, but we were both busy doing different things and we couldn't get there. But we're going to look at the Burton game on Wednesday night. Unfortunately, we couldn't get to the games. I was overseas and you were busy as well. But our lads got some videos after the game. So if we take a look, again, similar to like the Rotherham game when the starting lineup came out, it was Muric, which we said you said he would play. Kyle Walker came back in. Eric Garcia played, which was brilliant. Otamendi, Zinchenko. Then we had De Bruyne, Gundogan, David Silva, Mahrez, Gabby Jesus, and Leroy Sané. Surprised again, a really strong starting lineup.
It was a really, really strong starting lineup. I think it was obviously slightly weaker than Rotherham? You know,
a little bit, yeah,
you know,
a little bit.
Here, there, and Gundogan, defensive. It was slightly weaker, but still a pretty strong lineup.
It was very strong. I mean, considering it's Burton and it's over 2 legs, I mean that's a really serious start.
It's a lineup that you're expecting us to put the whole tie to bed in the first leg.
Yeah, I think that's what Pep. I mean, clearly Pep wanted a good lead, and because it's another game being sort of, you know, it's home and away legs rather than just one game. Pep clearly thought, look, let's try and put it to bed, as you say, tonight, and then if we get 5-0, 6-0, that should be enough for us to, you know, rest most of the big name players in the away leg, because, you know, you can imagine if he took that competition on Wednesday night and put, you know, 5-6 kids in there, and let's say we beat 3-1. Well, the tie's not over. That means that we would probably have to send the likes of a Kevin De Bruyne, a David Silva, Walker, Ederson, or whoever to the away leg, where now with the 9-0, we can send really a skeleton team, mostly with, you know, EDS and a mixture of players who need game time.
We can send the women's team here.
Oh, don't be disrespectful.
Oh, sorry, mate. We're not allowed to be disrespectful now. But,
no, that's it.
But remember, was it last year we played Bristol City? We struggled, you know, to beat them with 2-1 and 3-2 or something.
Yeah.
You know, you can't take any team lightly anymore. You know, we've had it enough through our own history. If you go back and look at things like, you probably remember about 30 years ago in the FA Cup, we went to Halifax Times.
Yeah, absolutely.
Beat 1-0.
Yeah.
So you cannot take any team for granted. You've got to give every opponent the utmost of respect, and that lineup give Burton the respect they deserve, because you got to remember who they've beaten to get here.
Yeah.
And Villa, you know,
Burnley.
Club. They beat Burnley,
Premier
League club. They beat Middlesbrough. Very high, the top at the time, if not top. They beat Forest, high up there. So they've beaten some pretty good opposition. They beat Shrewsbury as well at the start of the season, and I think Shrewsbury were pretty decent then as well. So they beat some pretty good clubs to get there. Yeah. You've got to give them respect. I don't think, quite possibly, those Championship clubs or even Burnley give Burton the respect they deserve. You knock out those teams, you deserve it, and you've earned that respect.
Well, you only have to look at the night before, Monday night or whenever it was, Liverpool Wolves. You know, rest a load of players, bring a load of kids in, get knocked out of a cup competition. I know it was against Premier League opposition, but you only, in this day and age, you only have to, you know, drop your performance by 20-30%, and you can be in trouble against any team, regardless of where they're from. So, and also on that, you can imagine if, let's imagine that stadium on Wednesday night was 50,000, 48,000, and everyone turned up to watch an EDS team. I don't think City fans would have been too. Yeah, I don't think they would have been too pleased on a, you know, a midweek night, school night, etc., turning up, and then suddenly there's an EDS team playing, and they don't get to see some of the big name players. So, it's one of those, sometimes, you can't win. So I was pleased to see him put out a good, strong, solid team. Rather than go through every single goal, every single player, any sort of standout performers over the game? I know it was comfortable, and Burton had a couple of chances to score, but any standout City performers?
Well, anytime a player scores 4 goals in a game, it's got to be a bit of a standout. And Jesus, 4 goals, some nice headers, some nice finishes. He could have got a couple more, if truth be told. He could have walked off with 2 match balls.
Yeah.
So, for being there in the right place, the right time, putting the ball away, got to be a standout performance. And another one, I didn't actually notice him in the game. I knew he was playing. I knew he was going to start. I knew he was starting. But the way we played, I totally forgot about this player. And that was Eric Garcia.
Yeah.
Eric Garcia, it was his 18th birthday. It was his debut for City, was it? I think.
Competition debut. He'd already played.
Yeah, so
he'd already come on as
so
earlier on in the season.
A massive stage. So he's getting his first taste of the Carabao Cup at the semi-final stage. He's besides winning 9-0, what a great birthday present for the kid. He's there at centre back, and I think the way he plays, he's in charge. He's in charge of Otamendi, and it's weird to say that.
Yeah.
When he plays with certain people, he's the one who takes control. And he said, and he's listening to his interview afterwards. His English is pretty decent, mate. And he wants to talk. He feels that he's got a part to play. He's not there as what's the right word? Not second class citizen, but he's not the number 2. He's part of the centre back pairing.
Yeah.
And he's got an equal role. That's what I'm looking for. His role is no less than the other central defender, and his input has got to be no less. So he talks, and he talks a lot. He's trying to be in control the way the other central back should be. So I think by the fact that I noticed him, I think he had a decent game. Anybody else? I mean, Gundogan again.
Well, that was one I wanted to pick out. I mean, I watched the game when I got home. I didn't get home from the airport until sort of like 10:15, past 11. And straight away put the match on. I sat down, watched it, and then yesterday I just watched through it last night, a few clips again. And I thought Gundogan was absolutely brilliant. I mean, sensational on the ball. I mean, some of his passing was absolutely brilliant. And on the back of his 4 assists on Sunday, it just shows you how important he is to this team, because he's a natural sort of playmaker replacement when we've not got David Silva or Kevin De Bruyne in there. I thought he was superb.
Yeah. Well, I've said before, I feel he needs that extra fraction of a second. When you give him a little bit of space, a little bit of time, he's as good as anybody.
Yeah.
And I think in the Premier League, you might not always get that space and time. But against Burton and Rotherham, he was ordered that space and time. And
yeah, absolutely.
He was so dangerous.
So, what about any goals, any standout goals from the other night? Because there were a couple of good ones.
Yeah, it's always nice when Phil Foden scores. I think the crowd are really waiting for that, hoping for that. And so when he scored, that was nice. Kyle Walker's goal, I really enjoyed the technique, the difficult technique that he employed. I mean, you could say he should have hit it with his left foot. The ball came in from the left. He should have hit it with his left, but he actually just opened his body, let it go across him, and hit it with his right. So that was a difficult finish, and I think he should have hit it with his left. What about Zinchenko? He's telling us he meant it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
I think even Gabby Jesus said it was meant for me.
Yeah. And then, obviously, it's nice when Riyad Mahrez scores as well. It's always nice when you knew that scores a goal. But it's interesting. I mentioned Mahrez. Obviously, you've decided that Mahrez watch, has it run its course? Has it finished now forever?
Don't know. I just think for now, basically what I did was looking at comments and things and everything from below. And while it was just basically the Algerian fanboy base, not because let me get this right, there are a lot of really good followers and subscribers of the channel who are Algerians, who make a lot of positive comments as well. But whilst we were being invaded with the Mahrez fanboys, calling us all this racists and blah, I just decided we're going to keep going. We're going to keep doing it. And we weren't doing it as a way of being nasty to Mahrez and just isolating Mahrez. We were being objective with what we were saying. I just thought we'll keep it. But I think what's happened now is those fanboys have now got a bit fed up of it and realised, we're not going to bite back and we're not going to just suddenly stop doing it because of the fact that they can be rude, can be made certain comments, etc. And what I've seen over the last 3 or 4 Mahrez watches is some City fans actually making comments. The odd one saying, yeah, keep doing it. But on the whole, most saying, we understand why you've done it, definitely, and we get that. But is it time to stop now? Because it can come across as if you're just picking on Mahrez, and we tried to explain that. Look, if I said to somebody, a City fan, I said, look, if we were getting called a Yorkshire hater, racist, blah, 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 we'd do one about Walker. Because somebody said, why don't you do a Walker one? He's not played very well. I said, because we're not being called a racist Yorkshire hater. I said that was the reason why we did it in the first place. So I took on these comments on board and thought, maybe it is time we just stop now. We'll probably get comments from some of the Algerian fanboys going, oh, you're not giving him a rating now, he's playing well. And that's fine. So that was the reason why, and just thought, right, that's the end now. He's integrated. He's in the team. He's a City player, and we've always supported him. It was just that we're not going to. Don't think there's any need anymore to. I think we've achieved what we wanted to set out with it, was to get back at those people who basically clear them off our channel, and pretty much that's what's happened. They've gone away. So yeah, time. It's run its course.
Yeah, I mean, he leaves on a high. Mahrez watch leaves after Mahrez has scored a goal.
Yeah. So that was the reason behind it. But if they come back and start it, maybe we'll start it up. Who knows? We did it for a reason. Well, I think we did it for the right reason. It was nothing to do with Mahrez being, targeting one player. It was targeting one player's certain fan base that were, being nasty, being, childish, etc. And we could have ignored it, but we thought we'll give them what they want. But now they don't want it, and yeah, exactly. So it's naturally run its course, and that's it. It's finished as far as I'm concerned, unless they come back and start giving us more grief, and then we'll do it again. But I thought, for me, the goal, I thought I think it was his fourth, was it Gabby's? Where Sane nutmegged the defender with the pass, and it was like a typical Aguero-style goal, just got in at the near post, flicked it in. And, we've got to remember, I know he's got a lot of grief on social media and certainly below some of our videos, especially in the Mahrez Watch videos. Why are you not doing this for Gabby Jesus? He's a kid, he's only 22 years of age. I mean, he's 21, 22. He's a striker. Strikers get there at 26, 27, 28. He's got 3-4 more years under Pep and other managers before he's getting anywhere near his peak. So I was really pleased for Gabby overall. So a couple of Bernardo Silva got some game time. Foden obviously came on, and Danilo came on, and it was nice to see watch back Nigel Clough's post match interview where he basically said, when were you worried? And he said, when we got drawn against City, that's when I was worried. But it was also interesting to hear him talk about the players and the way that his players at half-time and at full-time basically said, you know, it's like they glide across the pitch. It's not even like they're working. And he said that, you know, them play. He said one of his players turned around and said, "You think they're great when you're watching them on TV, but when you're actually playing against them, you realise just how good they are." So his players will learn so much from that game the other night. Professionalism, fitness, you know, technique, skill, teamwork, all of those things. And I'm sure Nigel picked Pep's brains at full time for a glass of red wine or two.
Or a bottle.
Or a bottle. Well, he did say, I hope there's more than one glass. But yeah, shame for the travelling fans. You know,
Yeah.
I was listening to it when I was in the terminal flying back, and it was saying they were stuck on the M6 and there'd been an incident, and
Yeah.
the talks of delaying the kickoff time, and yeah, you could see. Obviously, I think most of them got there by half time. If you know,
yeah. I remember one report said only one coach had made it 30 minutes before the game or an hour before the game started. Only one of their 30-odd coaches had made it because of the incident on the M6. And personally, I felt they should have delayed it 15 minutes if they could. Whether you argue that safety reasons, noise reasons, whatever, couldn't do it, I don't know. I mean, on the flip side, you could say, well, if you delay the kickoff by 15 minutes, it's going to finish 15 minutes later. You know, some people might want to get in the trains, might want to go home.
Yeah.
You know, but I think they could have done it. I think they should have done it because those fans, you know, this is maybe their one and only time semi-final of a cup. You know, thousands of fans were late by the looks of things. You know, it's one and only time. If at all possible, it could have been delayed. The question is, who makes that decision?
Well, I saw something yesterday, and it was they were interviewing. I think they were interviewing a Burton fan when somebody was where they were stuck, and he was saying he's just been told that the referee is having the meetings now, and I think this was about 7 o'clock, 7:15, and they were saying the referee is having meetings now, and they will make the decision on whether to delay the kickoff, and then it came back to say no, they're not going to delay the kickoff. They're going to continue at 7:45. So
it'd be interesting to find out whether it's Sky who made the decision.
I'm sure they will be involved as well. The
TV, it's the referee, the ref, it's the council, and the police.
Yeah.
So I'm sure we'll never find out. You know, we can ask these questions, no one will give us the answers. It's just the minor points, but it's sometimes it is interesting to know. But we too often remain ignorant of the facts and knowing what's going on. No one's going to tell us.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's interesting only because certainly yesterday on social media, and not just social media, but journalists as well. You know, there was this not only about the score, but about the empty stadium, and basically you had the likes of Mark Ogden turning around saying, you know, it's disrespectful, and City should have eased up at 4 or 5, or I mean, we know Ogden's a clickbait journalist.
He's not even a third-rate journalist. Yeah. Honestly, no time for him. When he was at the Telegraph, I used to comment on a few of his articles, but to be quite honest, it was a waste of time. You know, you could see his agenda, you could see the way he was going, and even facts and honesty and, you know, lots of good points. He wasn't interested. He's got his agenda. He's got his narrative. He's going to stick to it.
Yeah, I mean, I think somebody had mentioned it. I don't know, was it something I read a post-match, some article on Nigel Clough, and they'd asked him the same question. Yeah. Would you expect it? And it was almost like he burst out laughing and said, "These are professional footballers. I would not expect anybody ever to go easy in a game." And you've got the arguments on the flip side. You know, it's like I said, I can't remember below which journalist I posted it on Twitter yesterday, and I said, can you imagine last game of the season playing against Cardiff, and there's other teams, and Cardiff need to get beat, but no more than 6-0. and they will be guaranteed to stay up. And City get to 6-0, and then for 45 minutes just ease up, don't do anything. And that saves Cardiff but relegates Huddersfield. Or imagine what their fans and their managers, their owners and everything else would say about City easing up. Yeah. It's pathetic. It's absolutely nonsense.
There's no disrespect. City went out and put on a performance against a team that could have been dangerous, that has been dangerous to other Championship and a Premier League team already.
Absolutely.
Yes, you can argue. I mean, someone said, half time at 4-0, the tie was over. And in your heart and your head, you say, yes, the tie is over. But you just shut up shop. You just spend 45 minutes passing it around the back. We could have done that.
What would the fans have done if they're sat there watching us City players just playing 50 passes across and around and across and not go? Can you imagine as a City fan, you paid your money
exactly
to go and sit there, and for half the game you got 4 goals or 5 goals, and the next half you could clearly see City were not going to attack. They weren't going to have a shot on target. They won't. Imagine what Nigel Clough would think, and the players. They'd be saying, "Now you are taking the piss."
Yeah, exactly. And even the Burton fans, I think when they look back at it, they'll say, "We'd rather you stuff our team 9-0 than win 4-0 and spend 45 minutes taking the mick out of us." And
absolutely,
it all is. And I'm sure the Burton is. Yes, there is some embarrassment attached to getting battered 9-0, but even they will turn around and feel that City carried on going for 90 minutes. They set up. They give them the respect. They taught them a lesson, but they give them that respect, and they were professional all the way through to the end. Can you imagine how they'd feel? I think if we were taking the mick out of them, there'd have been a lot of frustration, a lot of anger, and I don't think there were any really rash tackles until the last few minutes when they were tired, and probably we were taking. I wouldn't say we were taking the mick out of them because we wanted a goal. So I think by that stage they were really tired. But
I think credit needs to go to Burton because those players, because you can imagine what it's like after 90 minutes against a team like City, where most Premier League teams in the last 20 minutes get really, really tired. They've been the 9-0 down. It's suddenly they could quite easily get that frustrated where they could start flying in, and take that frustration out on the players and injure a few of the players. They didn't do that.
Was that Liverpool fan on Twitter suggested that the Burton players should be kicking City players to injure them towards the end of the game because we were winning by so much. I mean, ridiculous.
Right. Pathetic.
It's disgusting, to be honest. I can't ever honestly remember wishing an injury on an opposition player.
Never. I mean, I can imagine a few managers out there that would have gone, get stuck, But I mean, fair play to Burton. They didn't do that, and they played some decent football. Like I said, they had a few chances. That one could have been 1-1. The guy
Harness on the right.
Akins, was it?
Harness.
Just couldn't keep his shot down, and that suddenly, like we were talking about before, it's 1-1. Yeah, we still would have gone on to win, but it's the good thing. What?
You never know.
You never. know. Games change on moments.
Exactly. And as soon as they'd missed, we went bang, 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 scored 3 goals in about 6 or 7 minutes.
Yeah.
Now, if he'd scored, we could have gone in at 1-1.
Absolutely. So moving on, feel sorry for the Burton fans who only got there late, which is a real shame. But that does happen on occasions, and it's sort of outside Man City's hands. I agree with you. Possibly they should have delayed it at least 15 minutes and then give. We don't know. Did they all get there at 8:15 and at one point, or were they dribs and drabs? So would starting the game at 8 o'clock really have a few? Would it have been 100 fans rather than 3,000 fans would have seen it? It's one of those. I'm sure they were on the phone to people, representatives saying, "Where are you now? Where are you now? What time are you going to be here? Right, you're on the road, but you're not going to be here till 2010. We can't delay it till that long. We'll go with what we've got." But
what did you think of the crowd then? I mean, it was just over.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I was only, like I said, I was trying to listen to it in the terminal and then sort of sat on board the aircraft listening to it, and it was saying that there were large swathes of empty seats, and I didn't know where they were because I couldn't see it visually, but I was thinking, well, obviously, if you've got thousands of Burton fans trapped on the motorway, there's going to be a massive big area of the stadium that's going to be empty. But when I saw it back on the telly, obviously in the East Stand, West Stand, East Stand, facing, there were sort of like big chunks of seats and dotted around, but gotta remember, like I think we discussed earlier, this before we were doing this video this morning, we were talking about this is 4 games in 11 days, home games. It's it's just straight after Christmas.
Yeah.
Some people have. I saw somebody on Twitter saying, I got paid on the 20th of December. I don't get paid until the 28th of January. And I've had Christmas and everything. I've got no money. I can't afford. I've got my season ticket, but I've got to get there. I've got to park up. I've got food. I've got this. I've got and it's a lot of home games all within 11 days for supporters. So I can understand why people sort of prioritised and thought, I'd rather go to the Wolves game on Monday night, knowing probably that we're going to give Burton a bit of a hiding at home. I'd rather save my money and go to the Wolves game.
A lot of people went to Rotherham game.
Rotherham, yeah.
So we had an extra 20,000 against Rotherham, and they brought 6,000. So
excuse me.
We had about an extra 16,000 City fans. But I think they just decided that it's on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Not a school night.
Yeah.
And they'll prioritise and go to the Rotherham game. I mean, everybody's got their own circumstances. You were away for work. My wife went away for work as well. And because she went away, I had no one to look after my kids.
Yeah.
My wife was here. I mean, I had the tickets to go, but she got called away late. So, if my wife was at home, I'd have taken one of my lads. My eldest lad, he'd have gone. It's a bit late for him, but he'd have probably gone with me.
Yeah.
When my wife's not there, what can you do? You can't really go out and arrive home at 11 o'clock and say to your kids, go to sleep now. They won't get to sleep before midnight. That's no way to look after your kids. So something's got to give. So whether it's financial reasons, whether it's
circumstances,
yeah. So it just happens, and you're right. People prioritise, and it wasn't full. It's not the first, and it won't be the last time a big stadium in England isn't full to capacity for a big.
God, no. I mean, no, of course it does. I mean, I think we did a video a few months back where we were talking about. I know it's difficult when people just have got their tickets already and they just don't turn up. But and I know fans do try to sell them, but on nights like that, the chances of you selling a ticket is rare. Nobody's, if they're not going to go, they're not going to go. So it would have been nice if 24 hours earlier, 48 hours earlier, if the club know that, then they turn around to the local schools and say, look, here's a couple of thousand tickets.
It's a school night as well. So
yeah.
Look, the night before, you had Spurs versus Chelsea. Now, Spurs, the capacity is already cut to about 51,000, I think, by the council and Wembley and whatever. And they only had 44,000 in Wembley, in London, Spurs against Chelsea. So, if they're only struggling to get 44,000, I don't think 32,000 or whatever we got is that bad when it's City versus Burton. And you can look back through history, all these fans who are coming on and having a pop at City, and look what their clubs did 10, 15, 20 years ago. How much did they beat other teams by? I think we all know about, was it Liverpool beat Fulham 10-0 years gone by? They never stopped. They never stopped playing at 5 or 6, and that's a one-legged affair.
And that was at Anfield, and it was empty. I think it was 13,500 fans there.
Well, there you go.
1-3.
Yeah, in those days,
this was supposedly the best team in world football.
We were the best.
Yeah.
The capacity was well over 40,000, and they didn't stop at 4 or 5. Once they'd won the game, because it was a one-legged game, but they kept going, and they kept going. So,
but it was interesting on you talk about attendances, and certainly we talk about opposition fans so obsessed with Man City, empty-handed Man City's fan base. It's unbelievable, and these are not just people who are just doing it for a little bit of clickbait. These are people who really believe this. They are absolutely obsessed with it, and especially Liverpool fans over the last 24 hours have been going on and on and on. And like we just mentioned there, the 10-0 against Fulham. 13,500 fans at home against Fulham at Anfield, when at the time they were the best team in world football. But when Liverpool were at home to Chelsea, they had an attendance of 45,000, 45, which meant they had an 83% capacity.
Yeah.
Right? We played Rotherham on Sunday, championship side, 21st.
21st,
we had 52,000. Which meant it was a 96% capacity. And these are fans, Liverpool fans, who are on Twitter and social media calling us out for not filling a stadium. This was Liverpool versus Chelsea in the Carabao Cup and only got an 83% capacity. We got 96% for Rotherham. It says it all.
Look, mate, there's tribalism, there's hypocrisy, there's stupidity. We don't mind a bit of banter. And especially on social media, we love a bit of banter, but at least get your facts right.
Yeah.
At least have a good starting point. And there's another great one where a Liverpool fan stuck 2 pictures, one of a City game, one of a Liverpool game, and he said Liverpool had 96
I saw that.
in a pre-season friendly. Failure, man.
I know. It was funny. Reading the comments below it, it was just like, oops. City fans just going, really? Anfield, 96,500 fans in Anfield. Yeah, right, okay. But anyway, sort of brings us to the end of sort of this. It was just like a quick review because we couldn't catch up yesterday to talk about the Burton game. Obviously, we've got. You're going to do a video with some Wolves fan channel. So you're going to do that and get that out tomorrow sometime. We'll be at the game, the Wolves game. Are you at the game on Monday?
Yeah, should be.
Okay. Well, we'll be at the game on Monday night. And don't forget, come over and have a chat with us before and after the games. And we'll be getting all the videos out like we normally do. And watch out for also a transfer. Sort of now the new year's here, we're in January. We haven't done one yet for January, so we're going to do sort of a transfer roundup video where we talk about some of the targets, the realistic targets, the ones that are just more like paper talk, and we'll be doing that over the coming days. So there'll be plenty of videos to watch on Man City Fan TV. But Ray, listen, we'll catch up. Thanks very much for this chat.
This
is Andy from Man City Fan TV and Ray. And we'll see you soon.